Good morning. Good Lord, it is nice to know you're there. All right, technology and the future of smart living. I think before we begin, if I may, with the panel's permission, who in here has got your smartphone with you? Right, put it in the air. Put it in the air. Now, do it one more time. Do it with the screen facing me. The screen facing me. Right. So that tells me that 90% of the room is on their phone at the moment, not listening to what we're talking about. So that comes to an end now. Because I think it's important, Karuna, would you agree, that we do not let the technology... Did I just hear a phone ring? The next phone that I hear rings is buying dinner for the whole room. Now, if that doesn't get you onto airplane mode, nothing will. All right, Karuna, tell me, technology and smart living, what does it actually mean? And how do we make sense of it?
Well, if you have to see, according to me, I think smart living is not about living in a house that controls or manages your moods, not wearing 3D printed clothing, not having you entertained by a robot or have your breakfast fed by a robot. I think smart living is about giving quality of life to the poorest of poor. It's all about infusing dignity into a common man's life, and that is smart living.
All right, but that's, I mean, when you say it like that, nobody can disagree with you, can you? I mean, we don't think of it as being like that. We think of smart living as being the way in which technology can maximize and make most efficient our way of life.
So that's what I meant. I mean, if you want to infuse dignity into a person's life, you could use technologies. So technologies need not really maximize the potential of just the rich people in the world. They can maximize the potential of people who are deprived, who are in the periphery of life.
Chairman, the question of, I mean, you're a telco, you're a mobile phone company.
A telco is more than a mobile phone company, but yes, we're a telco. You have here as well what you have in everything. This is the alternate move between what I call fear and greed. And we shouldn't look at greed from a negative point of view, but this is the desire to see opportunities. Today, in all these technology, we can see a lot of opportunities. But if you talk to people normally in a dinner and you ask them about what's going on, you will see less people telling you about excitement because they see things moving very fast, and you will hear probably more people expressing some concerns that we need to address, like what Karuna mentioned, and including everyone in these opportunities, concerns about the change of our life, concern about the dehumanization of what we're doing, and these can be addressed.
You want me to react to that?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, this is perhaps the opportunity to talk about things that are fundamental. So when we are enamored by technology, when you are blown away by technology, I think we tend to forget the core of the issue. So let me just refresh your memory. I think back in 2000, if you remember, almost 180 heads of nations came and signed the Millennium Development Goals. What were the goals about? Millennium Development Goals were about poverty alleviation, elementary education, maternal health, infant mortality, HIV, communicable diseases, and gender equality. Now, that was in 2000. And back in 2015, if you remember, at COP21, United Nations Framework Convention for Climate Change, in Paris, Again, I think more than 180 nations signed for Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
There are 17 now. And we are discussing the same, but with renewed energy. Now, just a little while ago, we finished World Economic Forum, and even at Davos, we are talking about hunger. So we are talking about hunger, we are talking about unemployment. So the core still remains the same. And on the one side, you see proliferation of technologies. You find that technologies are growing exponentially.
But just a minute. I guarantee you that I could ask some people about Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and they would know the answer. I guarantee you I could go outside into a shopping mall and ask about the SDGs. You know, name 5 of the SDGs. And I bet within this room we'd be hard-pressed to find a dozen people who could name 5 of the SDGs, myself included.
Yes, because you have to say SDGs.
I'm sorry?
It's SDGs.
SDGs. Oh. SDGs. Right. I want to do a test here with the audience. Let's make sure they are awake. How many of you, hands up here, how many of you sleep with your phone next to the bed? How many of you, pretty much within 15 minutes, whether you sleep with the phone next to the bed or not, but within 15 minutes of waking up, you have checked your phone for messages? How many of you do that but just don't want to admit it publicly? Chairman, what's gone wrong here? How have we turned into an entire community of people that know the price of everything and the value of nothing?
I don't think that things turned wrong. I think that in fast changing induced by technical capabilities, things are changing. We go a certain direction, then we correct certain things, then we regulate, then we moderate. This is a normal trend with every technology that happened. The only thing is that, as mentioned by a lot of speakers yesterday, it is happening much, much faster than we used to see in the adoption of a technology, because the capabilities are much bigger and are changing fundamentally everything we do and everything we touch.
Except they are arguably, and Karuna, you look at this as from futuristic cities, they are arguably changing things for the worst.
Normally, technology is looked at a double-edged sword. Say on one side, you have the greatest opportunity. It can really transform lives, and it can really make everything so easy for you. But on the other hand, it can be a cause of destruction. That is the popular perception. But according to me, I think there is a third side. Let me just share that third side. It's very important to look at the third dimension of technology, which I'd like to call it as a cognitive cloud. So when I say cloud, don't confuse with the cloud infrastructure. What I'm saying is about your cognition being clouded. It's like a mind fog. It's the confusion. It's something that destroys your power of discretion. Technology can do that. It can mess with your mindfulness. And the unfortunate thing is, that particular side of technology can present an opportunity as a threat and a threat as an opportunity. Just to give you an example, if you look at 3D printing, enormous amount of opportunity. You can just print homes for the homeless, 3D printed houses, cheap, affordable for the homeless. But if you print fetuses of mothers to be, the children, because everything is digitized today, you can print a fetus, and if the mother to be doesn't like the shape of the fetus, she can actually go and abort it. So the mind fog.
But that is no different to Solomon's decision on cutting the baby in half. That is absolutely, we are adding a technological element to a moral question that we've always had.
Okay, so just let me
Go ahead.
say just a little bit more about this. So what the leaders, the world leaders have to focus on is this component where they need to really look at all dimensions of the technology that they're birthing, they're growing, and they're maturing. All dimensions so that they can nip it at the bud. And the second side of technology that is causing destruction, just as Stephen Hawking said, or maybe even Jack Ma said recently, I think you can stop that progression when you stay focused on this particular gray mind fog area.
And I'm sure some of you have been to the Museum of the Future. When you enter, you will see quotes from various leaders in the world, from Vladimir Putin to the Pope to Bill Gates to Elon Musk, etc., speaking about AI. And you will see that you have various views of AI. And it's like, where are we going to put this cursor? And nobody knows, and I think it's very difficult to predict. But one has to see that you have a tremendous opportunity. Will this opportunity constitute a threat, like Karuna, you were saying? Yes, for sure, but I don't know why we are afraid of having in-depth conversations, framing the issues, sitting. If we look at what's happening generally, because of these capabilities, that connectivity that the internet are bringing, we need to talk with new partners more and more every day. This is what I call moving from the world of unshared certainties. When I started in telco decades ago, we did not need to speak with content providers, movie providers, other partners, municipalities, utility company. We did not need. We knew we had our business models. They were quite stable business model. Right. This is the unshared certainties. Today, by definition, any government entity, any industry, any sector of activity, nations, as Karuna mentioned, have to talk because issues are becoming generalized because of these capabilities and this hyper-connectivity that exists. We are moving to the shared uncertainties. Uncertainties because, yes, things maybe are not very clear. They have to be found. We have to find the right answers. Sometimes we have to find the right questions, actually, to frame the right questions. But this is possible. When I say, let me give you the example of the Dubai Smart City. Today you have data coming from various government departments, and that will help the city improve, predict the need, and plan better for the happiness of its citizens.
It is a technological solution. Just stop for a while and think. Look at all religions, all regions, all beliefs, all doctrines, philosophies in the world that actually divide people. If you deploy technologies that can sense and pull out the common thread between this, and I can bet my life that you will have something absolutely common in all this, because after all, we are all human beings and we're all Homo sapiens. You pull that common part. Yesterday, I was talking to Osman, and he said that in Lebanon, they look at water as a source for everything. Right. The same thing is true in my faith as well.
In the entire Arab world.
So around the world, everywhere, there is a common thread that ties beliefs, doctrines, religions. So if technology can pull that out, bring out the essence, augment that reality, and present to the world, I think we'll be in a much safer, well-organized, happy world.
I'm no longer worried. Ladies and gentlemen, our panel.
I'm the bad guy.
You're the bad. Come on. Now, to prove that we're all news, get your phones out. I'll allow you to switch your phones on again. Get your phones. Come on. Get your phones out and take a picture of all three of us.
Oh my God.
Come on. You've got, oh, for goodness sake, look at Martha, you can't even use your phone. 1, 2, 3, smile. There you are, something to go home with. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very grateful. Thank you.